One of the most thought-provoking argument in this book is that Pakistan's militancy problem did not appear out of nowhere. Madia Afzal traces its roots back to the Afghan Jihad of 1980s and says that many of the challenges Pakistan faces today are connected to the decisions made during the period back in 1980s. She focuses heavily on the General Zia-ul Haq's era. She says that Zia did not simply use Islam as a matter of personal belief, but also as a political and strategic tool. According to this book, his government promoted the idea that Pakistan was created for Islam and expanded the role of religion in education and public life. What I found interesting in her argument that the Afghan war was not presented merely as a political conflict against the Soviet Union. Instead, it was framed as a religious jihad. Fighters were trained not only with weapons but also with Islamic ideology. Afzal believes that this period normalized the idea of jihad and made it acceptable as a tool for achieving political and strategic goals. Another important point she raises is the role of international actors. She says and reminds the readers that the Afghan Jihad was not Pakistan's project alone. The US and Saudi Arabia provided funding and support, while Pakistan's intelligence agencies trained and managed many of the fighters. This makes the story much more complex than a simple good versus bad narrative. And then this book becomes even more compelling when she explains what happens after the Soviet Union. She says that the networks madrasas, fighters, and ideologies created during the Afghan Jihad did not disappear. Instead, many of them shifted their focus toward Kashmir. In her view, the state continued to see some militant groups as a strategically useful because they targeted India rather than Pakistan. What makes her analysis in this chapter strong is that she does not just discuss militant group themselves, she connects them to larger state narratives about Islam, national identity, and the perceived threat from India. Her argument is that these narratives help create an environment where certain militant groups could survive and even gain legitimacy. At the same time, readers may find some of her, conclusions controversial. Critics might say that she places too much responsibility on the Pakistani state and not enough on international powers, especially considering the